Hey, I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what I believe to be the best investments that are under $10 right now. But before we get into that, I did want to say a little bit about our membership program because we've had some picks that have done incredibly well. And one that I wanted to highlight a little bit was Joe Montana's PSA 10 1981 Topps. That on August 22nd of 2021, we recommended our ultra high-end members to buy these in a PSA 10 for under $45,000. They went as high as $114,000 and have recently settled at around $85,000. So of course, this is our ultra high-end membership program. I understand that a lot of people watching this video may only, want to join our monthly program, which is only $6.99 a month. But our picks on that one have also been doing incredibly well. So if you want just kind of a glimpse of us dealing on a higher level, this is it. But we, of course, have some really great picks that are $10 and less on our membership program as well. So if you would like to join, the link will be down below to sportscardsinvest.com. Without further ado, we will hop right into this video. So the first card that I believe is a very good investment right now for under $10 is Pau Gasol's 2001 Topps Chrome rookie card. So as we know, the much anticipated Kobe Bryant documentary is on its way. Of course, the date has continued to get pushed back, but I truly believe that when it does eventually drop, it's going to bring so much attention. And as we saw with The Last Dance, prices in the sports card market really, are in tune with pop culture and what's relevant at the time. And I truly believe that Kobe's documentary is going to shine a big light on Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol was to Kobe as Pippen was to Jordan, and I think that's a little bit less highlighted recently. As once the documentary airs, I truly believe that most people will realize how dominant Gasol was in his prime. He was a 6-time All-Star, of course, back-to-back champion. And then, of course, I also believe that as sports cards grow globally, and as more platforms come out, that allow investors in Europe to buy cards, investors in Asia to buy cards, and as the culture spreads, I truly believe that Pau Gasol, being one of the best European players of all time, being kind of the face of Spain, he's the best Spanish basketball player of all time. He played in the Olympics for them quite a lot, and was just a very big part of Spanish basketball. I truly believe that that's also going to cause demand on these to be even higher. So I think it's a really good time to be buying these up if you can find them ungraded for around $10. Without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, and that's going to be Donovan Mitchell's 2017 Select. Now, I actually recommended this to our members probably around a month and a half ago in preparation that Donovan Mitchell could be leaving the Jazz, and that's going to cause a big price increase in my opinion. And one first thing is, he's playing in Utah, and as we know, the fan base in Utah, overall, it's a smaller city than a lot of the teams he's been rumored to potentially go to. And what happens if he joins the Knicks or the Miami Heat or any big city team, or any contending team, you're going to see his prices really jump, in my opinion, and that is simply because the fan base will be much larger than the Utah Jazz fan base if he does end up in Miami or New York. And as we know, Donovan Mitchell is one of the best young stars out there. I think he's just been kind of lacking that playoff performance on the big stage. So I think truly, to real NBA fans know him very well, but he hasn't quite hit mainstream yet. And I think if he does end up in Miami or New York, we're really going to see his cards hit mainstream. So if you are an investor right now, I truly believe you have great upside in Donovan Mitchell's cards, and especially given he's a very young star, right? We see how much money people throw at young stars. And I truly believe that Donovan Mitchell should be in that conversation of the Trae Youngs, of the Zions, of the Luka Doncic's that get thrown so much money at. And I truly believe he's just missing that hype factor that guys like Zion have. And I think with, if he does end up in a bigger market team, we're going to start to see that hype factor come into his card market, and that's going to cause his prices to really increase. So if he does get traded, I definitely believe this is a very good buy. So it is a window. You're placing a little bit of a bet, but I believe the upside is far, better than the downside, given these prices are currently reflecting the fact that he's a Utah Jazz player, right? So if he does end up on the Knicks or Miami Heat, we're definitely going to see his cards start to rise. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into another young player who I really wanted to talk about because I believe this is going to be a similar situation. Phoenix, as great as they are, they have quite a small fan base in comparison to a lot of bigger cities in the U.S. And so I definitely think Ayton, given he's one of the best young bigs in the league, and I know there's a lot of NBA fans that are kind of partially biased towards bigs because the league has become so much guard heavy, and I think that there's a lot of people who are still wanting to invest in bigger talents that are big men, and I think Ayton fits that quite well, and especially given, he had such a great jump shot in college, and he's really been developing that jump shot throughout his career, and every year it gets a lot better, and it makes him so much more deadly. So I think it's just a matter of time before he takes his game to the next step in terms of putting that jump shot together on top of his domination with the paint. So I definitely think it's a good time to be buying up Deandre Ayton, and if he does end up in a bigger market team, we're going to see his prices artificially go up just because the fan base of his new team will be larger. He is right now coming back to the Suns, but at some point, if the Suns end up making a move for either Kevin Durant or anyone else, DeAndre Ayton will very likely be a part of that trade, whether it's a 3-way trade, a 4-team trade. I truly believe that they will have to give up Ayton if they do end up making a move for a star. And so I definitely think it's a good time to be buying up Ayton's cards right now. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, and that is going to be Jamal Murray and his 2016 Optic rookie card. Now, I know that this is a very under-the-radar pick. Not many people are thinking about Jamal Murray right now, and I think that's what makes this pick incredible, a lot of upside with this pick, essentially. And that's what I do in my membership program as well. Like, we're trying to find those underground cards that are under the radar right now, and when he's in the spotlight again, we're going to see a great increase in price. And I believe that Murray fits that very well because he's been out and injured for a long time, over a year, I believe, almost, at this point. So I definitely think, his card market's really suffered, and I think a lot of people have forgotten about Jamal Murray and the whole bubble and just overall the Nuggets' future. The Nuggets have a young Murray, a young Jokic, and a young Michael Porter Jr., who are likely all going to hit their primes in about 4 to 5 years. Maybe a little bit less, but, they definitely have a long runway ahead of them. And Jokic, of course, being an MVP, the Nuggets are always contending in the Western Conference, and I believe that when Porter and Murray are healthy again, we're going to start to see their price increase. And one thing I really like about Murray is in terms of sports cards, not in terms of pure basketball, but in terms of sports cards, he's a very streaky player, right? He's going to have those 50-point playoff performances, but he's also going to have those really poor performances. So you can really buy into the hype if you're holding these now, and he does have one of those big playoff performances next season, we're going to see his prices really go up as we saw them happen in the bubble. So I believe it's a good time to be buying up Murray's cards. It's out of the spotlight, very low risk given the current prices are so low, but very high reward given Murray's one of the, key young stars for the Nuggets. So I definitely think it's a good time to be buying up Jamal Murray's cards. Now, without further ado, we will hop right into our next pick, and that is going to be Bam Adebayo in his 2017 Optic. Sorry about that. But I truly believe that Bam Adebayo is very tightly correlated to the Miami Heat's success as a team. And I know the Heat had a little bit of an underwhelming past 2 years since the bubble, but I truly believe that, Adebayo is still very, very young, and he's got a long way ahead of him, and he is one of those hybrid bigs that I think are going to last a long time in this league at a very high level, and that's kind of given his play style. He can, has that nice mid-range shot, but he can also dominate the paint, and I've been seeing that in a lot of these younger big men who can kind of play the power forward position and, truly be a big part of a winning team. And I think that's exactly what Adebayo can be. Given, the Eastern Conference is losing Kevin Durant, possibly Kyrie Irving, possibly. A lot of other teams are kind of washing out the way, and I think that leaves a lot more room for Miami and Boston. So I think in the future there's going to be a lot of duels between Miami and Boston, and Bam Adebayo is one of the very core pieces to the Miami Heat, and I think that's long-term going to play very well for a sports card market. So I think it's a good time to be buying up these right now for very low. You can get ungraded, Optic Mega Box Shocks for $5. You can get a lot of just lower pop variations for very cheap, like an Optic Hollow, which is a key rookie card of his, for $8 ungraded. So I definitely think that's one to be holding on to, a good long-term investment right now, but also potential good short-term upside if the Nets are out next year and the Heat can make a push. And if they do end up, landing Donovan Mitchell or another young star, we could also see that help the Heat kind of take it to the next level. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys would like to join in on the program, the link is down below. The monthly memberships have cards as low as $5, $10. So if you guys would like to join in, the link is down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And other than that, I'm out. Peace.